To the next installment of our webinar series on the Microsoft Modern Workplace. My name is Chris Chalmers and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect with Hinsu. I've worked in the IT industry for roughly 8 years now, which has predominantly been with managed service providers across private and public cloud environments, where I really gained exposure to a broad range of sectors and technologies. In my role at Hinsu, I've recently been focusing on the Microsoft Azure 365 platform, performed various migrations to the public clouds and the security aspects surrounding those. Today's webinar will be focusing on cloud app security. I will give you a brief overview of the technology, how it can benefit your business, organization, common use cases that we see, and then we can dive into a short demo on the administrator console to take you through each tab of how it can work. So, Cloud App Security is a solution provided by Microsoft, built in, and it gives you rich visibility, control over your data, and some sophisticated analytics on what you can see. Cloud App Security gives you views into your organization as it is from any location. It can see the data from devices, users, groups, and locations. It natively integrates with existing Microsoft solutions. Predominantly, we gather the data from Windows Defender ATP, which is then sent into Cloud App Security. Since that runs on the endpoint of the device, data comes from there, is then sent into Cloud App Security as a central portal. It can also integrate into other solutions, such as firewalls and proxies via small proxy servers where you can run Cloud App Security. If you send the logs into the proxy then relays it into Cloud App Security. Cloud App Security, really, as the name suggests, is to get a handle on which applications you're using, and it's very good at discovering and controlling the use of shadow IT. Since it can see the cloud apps, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service services used by your organization, it has a lot of categories that you can use. Each application is given a score based on a different set of metrics. The score then calculates to be red, amber, green status, and you can see per app if it can meet certain compliance requirements, regulatory, or security as well. It allows you to protect against cyber threats and anomalies. With the analytics, you can use it to detect unusual behavior across your cloud applications and potentially detect ransomware. The logging capabilities can be quite granular, and you can see who would download or upload SharePoint sites. You can also check on deleted files, updated files. You can also do a few alerts around unusually high volumes of uploading or downloading files. And with the compliance aspects, each cloud app, since it's given a score, you can use that to check if it meets your compliance requirements. If you have any specifics around SOCs or ISOs, you can see ratings from those which are provided by Microsoft. It really is a good tool for having overall visibility of what's going on your environment, especially around the Microsoft 365 services. Following the overview, I can now dive into a demo, and I can take you through that since that's more involved. The Cloud App Security portal is available using your domain name .portal.cloudappsecurity.com. You will first land on the dashboard overview page, which shows you any open alerts, discovered applications in the past 30 days, any top users that might need investigation, malware or OAuth applications. It's really split into 4 different sections. On the left-hand side, you've got discover, investigate, control, and alerts. You can also minimize the window as well to give you a bit more room. If we first look at the discover section, if you look at the discovery dashboard, gives you an overall view of the environment. The tabs at the top also drilled in on the left-hand side. You can use either or. The overall dashboard shows you a picture of the applications that it's detected, any IP address, users, and machines that are in use, also traffic. Your cloud apps are categorized as such. It will group them into their common use case, and you can also change the filters to show how that applies to each as well. Or we can look at the data that was uploaded to each. There is similar with risk levels, and you can see the list of apps that are in my sandbox environment here. Similarly, you can change it as well, and you can see which machines might have used it. I only have one sandbox machine in my environment, or my users as well is very similar, or my IP addresses is the same. Change back to uploads, so you can see from the SharePoint app, there's been 16 megabytes uploaded to there. Top entities is your users, and you also get a good view on locations, so you can see where I was logged in from. And if we look at discovered applications, so these are the list of applications that Defender ATP has picked up on my Windows 10 machine, and you can see that there's a score against each. If we select Skype, for example, it then breaks the score down into different sections: general, security, compliance, and legal. There's overall information in the general, then it's either a tick if it passes or a cross if it fails. Compliance, you've got many different compliance categories here as well, and also legal mentions here. If we look at one that isn't a 10, and we look at Google Groups, for example, we can see how it differs from the one above. If we look at the compliance, it can meet certain, but it fails others, and same with legal. And you can see the breakdown of how the score has been calculated, and then category weights as well. Similarly with IP addresses, you can see where those are coming from. If you then drill down into the IP address, you can see any associated objects or logs to those. So you can then see transactions from it, traffic, uploads, and downloads. You can also see any discovered apps that were associated to that IP address, or any user history as well. So over the past 3 days, my user account had logged in from this IP. So that's the machine. If we look into users, similarly, you can see the associated objects and logs from my user account as well, which is very similar since it follows the same pattern. And then finally with machines, very similar. List out your desktops where the data is coming from, and then you have the same set of tabs over your discovered apps, users, and IP history, and you can see the associated objects to this machine as well. So you can then see which discovered apps were on there. From the investigation piece, there is an overall activity log, which I find particularly useful since it gives you a line-by-line breakdown. You can also filter by specific applications or specific users. If I pick my administrator account for now, we can then filter the logs based on my administrator account. You can see all the actions that were performed by my user. On the activity log that I quite like is if you click on the specific columns, it then changes the content below. I've clicked on here and you can get overall information. If I click on the user, it then changes the context to show any associated information for this specific user. So you can see if there's any open alerts, matches, activities, and over the past 30 days as well. Also shows you locations where the user was detected from. Similarly with the IP address, if you select on the content of this as well, it will filter below. And you can see the information directly here. So you don't really need to use the discovery tab. I usually come to the activity log, find what I'm looking of interest, and then filter these appropriately. Similar with device as well, you can perform similar actions. Investigating your users and accounts is simple as well. This will list all the users that it's detected within the console, and if, for example, we select let's pick my normal account, it then correlates all the other accounts that it sees as associated, and you can see where it's come from, any sub-applications, and the specific identifier surrounding those. It also shows you the last seen activity for each of those accounts. It groups it as well. You can again filter by applications, specific groups, or whether the account's external or internal. Security configuration gives you a recommendation across your different services, which can be quite useful. In this case, there are a few recommendations around disk encryption, endpoint protection, and subnets. It's similar to what you would see in the Azure Portal Security Center. It's just more easily viewable here and all in one place. From the connected applications, in this instance, I have connected Cloud App Security into Office 365 and Microsoft Azure. You can connect to other here as well. There's a few third party that are supported, such as AWS, Cisco WebEx can be common, or Salesforce. You can suggest more applications as well. From the control aspect of things, it's broken down into policies and templates. A lot of these policies are out of the box provided by Microsoft. They do a good job really of giving you visibility on these policies, which can detect any anomalous or malicious actions. If we can look at actions from suspicious IP address, for example, we can drill into these. These are all default, and it covers all users and groups, your sign-in activities, and you can choose to send letters, email, or text messages, and which applications that it's tied into. You can, although there are a lot of out-the-box policies, you can also create your own from here, and then you can put it into separate categories. If we select our file policy, you can base it on existing templates that are available once you give it a name and a description, any severities or categories, and then build your filter here. You don't need to know any specific coding or specialized languages. It's very drop-down friendly. Selecting your criteria here. One thing I particularly like from this part is you're able to edit and preview results. So you can see if your filter is taking effect to what you need it to. If it's maybe catching too many things, you can make it more specific, or if it isn't detecting it exactly what you want, you can widen it up slightly. You can simply add others. So we could add things such as owners, possibly, and they could be specific users. Or if we do comply to all files, selected folders, or excluding, and you can take some certain governance actions as well on each. In this case, it applies to OneDrive for Business and SharePoint. You can do a few things here. You can put the user in quarantine or some common integrations we've seen are classification labels. If you've integrated it into Azure Information Protection, if the alert triggers, you can then apply certain labels, which I have here, or if it already had a label, you can remove as well. Very similar actions on SharePoint Online here as well. And the templates. A lot of these are out of the box as well, provided by Microsoft, that you can have a look through. Then on the alerting, I've got a couple of open alerts right now just for testing. And these are showing activity from an infrequent country. We drill down into one of these. It has a description of each and then important information. It then breaks down activity logs and the associated users for each. Again, you can click on them and see the specific details, which is more tailored to this alert. And if we navigate back, Cloud App Security really is a good tool for having an overall view of your environment. And it's great for seeing the applications with the compliance scores against those. It can be particularly useful if you want to, if you have to do any due diligence questionnaires or investors, you can show which applications are in use across the environment, provide the score for those. You can also mark applications as sanctioned or unsanctioned. With unsanctioned applications, you can take specific actions against those to block them from being used on your endpoints. That concludes our webinar on Cloud App Security. I hope that was useful as an introduction into the tools as a solution. If you've got any questions or comments or would like help implementing Cloud App Security, feel free to reach out to us through hello@hensoo.com and someone will be in touch with you. Thanks for joining and see you on the next one.